Hello YouTube, this is Dazzathecameraman. Today is Thursday, August 24th, 2017, and this is a follow-up to my last couple of Hangouts regarding Mr. Curious Unknown. Now I'll just fill in a little bit because this is an impromptu Hangout once again. So I will give people a chance to join in on the chat. Hi there Elvis, good to see you again. And in this video, I'm going to respond to Mr. Curious Unknown's last video that he uploaded. Now, once again, I'm still hoping that Mr. Curious Unknown will join me for a hangout so that we can discuss what we're seeing in his videos. And as I said previously, I will be respectful, I will be fair, I'll be polite. And hopefully we can have a positive discussion about what we're seeing in his videos. Hopefully Mr. Curious Unknown will go away from the hangout with a few things to think about that he can try to test for himself what he is seeing in his videos. And in that way he will know, he will be able to prove whether what he is showing us is actually what he claims it is. Now, I can't make a judgment really on what's going on inside Mr. Curious Unknown's head, whether he sincerely believes what he's saying or whether he wants to believe what he thinks he's seeing. Only he really knows what's going on inside his head. But there are some simple things that he can do to actually test what he's doing. And in fact, he's already done it by filming that porch light, which I've already described in the previous Hangouts. Unfortunately, he deleted that video of the porch light. But what I'm going to do is I've downloaded his latest video. It took a while before the formats had all processed before I could upload it, or sorry, download it. And I'm going to go through what he says and respond as if we're having a conversation, because he asks me some questions, and of course I'm not in his Hangout to respond. He's got me blocked, so I can't respond. So I'm going to pull it up shortly. I'm just getting set up here again. And it's going to be audio only. I'm not going to play it from the live video, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, bada boom, you should be able to hear me. It's live. Are others hearing me in the chat? Just give me a yes if you can hear me. I see we've got a few people in the chat there. Termin, Sloth, John, Elvis, and bada boom. Yes, can you hear me in the chat there? Yes, thank you. Okay. So just give me a minute while I sort out my sharing. I've got the audio set up in Audacity so I can see what's what. And share screen. I'm checking the preview on a second computer, so I'll just make sure that's coming up. There is a delay. I'm just waiting to see my screen in the live preview. And I'm not seeing it so far. I do have problems on this computer. So instead of sharing my screen, I might just have to go with the audio, see if that works. So I think I know what's wrong. Just bear with me. I need to set up dual screen on my main PC. I've got that on my laptop and it works really well. But there we go. Just confirm that you can see that in the chat. You can see Audacity in the main screen with the audio. And I hope Mr. Curious Unknown is watching. If not, he can watch this later. Okay, in the chat, can you confirm that you can see that in the window? Yes, thank you. All right. So the next thing I need to confirm is that you're hearing my audio okay. So let's give this a try. I'm just going to play a little bit of test. Let me just expand this out. And we're going to about 3 minutes because he had himself muted and then he realized. So we pick up about here. I'll play a little bit, just make sure that the audio is okay. Now, you can probably hear a croak in my voice at the moment. That is because I'm exhausted. I really should be recharging right now, but I thought that I should respond.
You know what, guys? I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? I don't cry much.
Okay, is that audio coming through okay? The bit that I just played? Audio is good, thank you, Sloth. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go through this bit by bit and respond because I think that it did deserve a response.
You know what, guys? I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? I don't cry much. I'm pretty hard. But this breaks my heart because it was never supposed to be about this. It was always supposed to be about Jesus. I've never been trying to prove anything to anyone.
Right, so first of all, I don't have any problem with Mr. Curious Unknown preaching about Jesus. Now, some people know this. I have Christian beliefs. I have a Christian faith, okay? Now, some people have a problem with that because they feel that it's incompatible with my role as a debunker. And I actually respect that view. I can understand why people have a problem with me having Christian beliefs or having religious beliefs, if you want to put it that way. But I'll say this, I know that I'm in very good company because even the most experienced, most brilliant, knowledgeable astronomers and astrophysicists, some of them actually believe that there is design in the universe. Some of these people are what's known as theistic evolutionists. Some people have a problem with that term. I respect that. But my point being is that there are many Christian believers, many committed Christian believers who actually believe that there is design in the universe and that they are actually Christians. So I don't have a problem with Mr. Curious Unknown preaching Christ, okay? What I do have a problem with is him using Nibiru Planet X lens flares to try and preach Christ as a platform, because what he's doing is he is using deception, okay? Maybe he's sincere, and I can't judge him in that. Only he knows what's going on in his mind. But you know, I'm prepared to work with this guy, and I've already reached out to him and tried to work with him to show him what he's seeing. And you know, he filmed that porch light video and then he went and deleted it. But anyway, I shouldn't talk for too long. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, I guess I have. Sure, I have. But that was then. This is now. The Lord has changed my heart. He's changed my direction. He's changed my purpose. And I wasn't receiving any persecution until then. I'm not out to hide, or to lie, to fearmonger, to delete videos. I don't even know. But I do know this. The persecution's going to keep coming. At this point, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If the name of Jesus is involved, you will be crushed by society.
So once again, I'll address that point. This has got nothing at all to do with you preaching Jesus, Mr. Curious Unknown. If you want to run a channel where you're preaching the gospel, I've got no problem with that. If you want to do Bible readings, I've got no problem with that. If you want to share your testimony, I've got no problem with that. That's fine, and I think it's great. So by all means, go ahead and do it. I've got no problem with that. And I know that there will be a lot of people who will follow you if you do that, if that's what you're looking for. But what I do have a problem with is people using lens flares and claiming that it's Nibiru, Planet X, that there's something strange in the sky, and that is what you're doing. And that is what you're basing your platform of preaching on. That is what I have a problem with. I do not have a problem with you preaching the gospel. Now, somebody suggested that I drop the volume down for the playback. So I'm going to give that a try. Let's just bring that back a little bit, and hopefully that will help. So let's carry on. Please let me know in the chat how the audio is.
But at the same time, while you're being crushed, you're being loved on, and you're being given hope, and you're being given peace and patience. And it just breaks my heart, man.
Well, I certainly don't mean to break your heart, Mr. Curious Unknown. As I've said, I've tried to work with you. I've tried to be respectful from the start. I've been very patient with you. I've tried to reach out and make suggestions to you of things that you can try. And then I see you upload this very good video where you filmed your porch light, and it actually proved that you were filming a reflection. And I actually commented and I said, you know, well done. I complimented you on your video. But I also made the comment that it actually proves that you're filming a reflection and not something next to the sun or the moon. And sadly, I was disappointed to see that you deleted that video. I think within an hour you deleted that video. And I asked you about that. You told me that you would redo the video, but you haven't. And it's been, I think, about 3 days now, at least. So why would you do that? I can't understand, unless the reason is that you deleted the video because you didn't want people to know that you were filming reflections. Okay, let's carry on.
So there's your light pole video, or your lamp or porch light video, whatever you want.
I'll just pause there and explain that in the video, and you can go to his channel and see it. He had his phone aimed at his outside light outside his home, but this time, you know, it wasn't even properly dark. It wasn't like the first video that he filmed where we could see it was a reflection. I would like to see you redo that video, Mr. Curious Unknown, like you did it the first time. Let's see what we saw in your first video. I don't know, maybe you've still got the video saved on your phone or on your computer, wherever. And maybe you can re-upload that original video. If not, please refilm it as you did it the first time. Let's see the truth about what you're filming. Let's carry on.
I guess now I have to take my orders from Dazza and his crew, or else. It's kind of the position they've put me in. It's do this, do that, answer to me, and if you don't, I'm going to put a video up about you and just defame you.
Well, no, of course you don't have to do anything I ask you to do, Mr. Curious Unknown. That's entirely your choice. Just as it is my freedom to debunk your videos. And if you're going to block me on your channel, as you have done, then the only option, the only way of reply that you leave me with is a response video like this. So I said, I'm quite happy to have you come into a live hangout with me and we can discuss this like two gentlemen. I will be very respectful and polite, as I always am, and we can discuss what we're seeing in your videos. Let's carry on.
I think that's called defamation, and I think it's illegal, but I don't need to go there.
Actually, no, it's not defamation, and it's not illegal. You see, defamation is when you say something about someone publicly that isn't true. It's not illegal to tell the truth about somebody, and it's certainly not defamation, right? So if you're filming lens flares and claiming that it's a blue planet next to the sun, and I call you out and say, no, it's not, it's a lens flare, then that is not defamation. If you prove yourself to be a fraud and a liar, and I call you a fraud and a liar, that's not defamation either, because if I can prove that you're a fraud and a liar, then it's the truth, and that's not defamation. See, this is why I can say that Scott Cohn is a criminal and that Scott Cohn is a liar and a hoaxer, and I can say that without any worries of legal action, because I know that it's 100% true, and Scott Cohn knows it's 100% true as well. So he can't take legal action against me for telling the truth. But anyway, let's carry on.
Because I'm just illiterate and my grammar is awful. Also, people are making fun of the way that I talk, and I told everybody at the beginning of all this that God used Moses, and he has a speech impediment, but he still went through it. And me and Jesus are going to keep going regardless of what people think about me or how I sound. Or
right. Well, let's address that. I have never made fun of the way that you talk. Yes, I have impersonated you and what you're saying, and that's got nothing to do with the way you talk. It was about what you were saying. Whoa, man, look at those clouds. Wow. Look at those clouds. Whoa, holy crap, man. Those clouds, wow. You know, it's not about the way that you talk. It's about what you're saying is the point. They were clouds, right? We were looking at clouds. We're looking at sunlit clouds. You seem to forget that when your sun has gone down over the horizon, the sun is still shining on the tops of the clouds. Why do you think that we can see satellites at night crossing the sky when it's dark outside? It's because the satellites are high above the Earth and the sun is still shining on them. The International Space Station is an altitude of about 400 kilometers. I think that's about 250 miles, just off the top of my head. And even when it's quite dark outside, you can still see the International Space Station because the sun is shining on it, even though the sun is down below our horizon. And the same thing is true after the sun is set for a period of time. The sun is still shining on the tops of the clouds, which are thousands of feet above the surface of the Earth. So you're going to get sunshine illuminating the tops of clouds, and that is what you're seeing. Let's carry on.
They think they got me with my voice. Like, wait till they see my face, which they will never do. But let's not give them any more to laugh at. You know what I mean?
Mr. Curious Unknown, I have absolutely no problem with your voice. And in fact, I didn't even pick up any sort of impediment in your voice at all. So maybe it's something that you're particularly self-conscious of. It's certainly not something that I'd picked up on, and it certainly wasn't something that I was making fun of.
I have nothing to worry about. I have no lies. I'm frustrated over all this. It's nonsense, and it's just a distraction. I feel like I'm at a point now where if I don't just get off of YouTube altogether, then I might just be doing more harm than good.
Like I said, Mr. Curious Unknown, I've got no problem with you. If you want to preach the gospel, if you want to share your testimony, if you want to do Bible readings or whatever, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But the problem that I have is when you're filming lens flares, lens reflections, and claiming that they're a planet next to the sun or the moon, that's where I have a problem.
They're going to hate me no matter what. So I can choose to get off of YouTube and quit doing what I'm doing and not deal with the stress, because I'm gonna be honest, it's stressful, man, and it's unnecessary stress. But I know that Jesus was stressed out and went through hard times, and this is just a refining process for me, so that he can continue to mold and make me and create me to everything that he wants. I need to remember to stay humble.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you are being molded and refined there, Mr. Curious. And talking about being humble, maybe you would like to humble yourself and realize that you have an opportunity here to test what you're seeing. I've reached out to you. I've tried to work with you. I've tried to be respectful from the start. And as I've already said many times, there are so many simple things that you can do to test what you're seeing in your videos. So if you want to be sincere and honest and truthful, then you would want to embrace these things to test what you're seeing. Let's carry on.
And in the spirit, because boy, oh my, man, I was in the flesh earlier. He's probably still live talking about me now, which that's cool, but I couldn't defend myself and say exactly what I wanted to say because it was just text. He did invite me to Google Hangout, and then he gave me crap over driving home and texting and driving, which that man has no clue if I'm parked, you know.
Well, actually, you did say that you were driving home, and it was somebody in the chat that actually made the comment too about driving and texting. You're a blimmin' idiot. And yeah, that didn't even occur to me at first until I saw that comment. And yeah, duh, you don't want to be driving and texting or, doing a hangout. Obviously, you're putting others on the road at risk as well as yourself. And I would hate to think that you might have had an accident while you were texting or trying to read the messages.
If I'm sitting at a light, if I'm, it's just no matter what. Slam, 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 slam. Anything they could possibly do to make me look like crap or an awful father or an awful member of society, it doesn't even matter. Because I claim the name of Jesus. I even told him that. I said, your real problem is you don't believe in Jesus. Oh, you think he had a smart answer to that? Nope, not at all. Just pass on by that comment.
Right, so, let's make another assumption about Dazzathecameraman, that Dazzathecameraman doesn't believe in Jesus. Well, as I said at the start of this hangout, I actually have a Christian faith. Now, I don't make a big deal about it. I share it when I can in the right situations with, the right time and everything. People don't like religion being forced down their throats. It's a personal thing. I can share my testimony with people when I feel it's appropriate. Some of them will want to hear it, and some people don't want to hear it, okay? But, Mr. Curious Unknown, as a Christian, I think that you should bear in mind what it says in James 3:1. It says, not many of you should be teachers, my brothers, for we shall be judged more severely, right? So if you're going to preach the gospel, you're going to be judged more severely. If you're going to hold yourself out there as a preacher, then you have to be squeaky clean in everything that you say. And if you're going to claim that you're filming Nibiru Planet X next to the sun, well, that's just not even honest. Maybe you might believe what you're saying, but in fact, it's not the truth, okay? So if you're going to use deceit to spread the gospel, you're going to be judged for it. And I wouldn't want to be in that place, okay? So, you talk about being refined and molded and all the rest of it. This is an opportunity for you to stop and think about what you've been doing and what you've been saying, and whether you have an opportunity to actually work with somebody to try and prove one way or the other about what you are seeing in your videos, whether they're true or not. Okay. So don't make assumptions about Dazzathecameraman's faith, because you would be very surprised if you came and talked to me one-to-one about my faith, as many people would be. And this is an interesting point too, is that many of the so-called Christians that I deal with on my channel say the most disgusting and offensive comments. They use the most disgusting language, and if they read their Bibles and read what the Bible says about using profane language, they wouldn't use that kind of language. Sure, I'm guilty of it sometimes. I call bullshit bullshit. Sometimes I think it's appropriate to call bullshit for what it is. But I don't use the sort of expletives that these people throw around, calling others and F and this and a C and all the rest of it, and saying other very disgusting things. So don't make judgments on my faith there, Mr. Curious Unknown, because you really don't know me.
Just pass on by that comment. Defend that comment, buddy. You want me to defend lens flares? Then defend the name of the Lord. Yeah, defend the name Jesus Christ. You want to call me out, brother? You want to call me out on a video and say that I'm fear-mongering and pushing BS, and you have the balls to call it? Okay, well, I have the balls to say something to you, man. Claim the name of Jesus Christ in your life. Profess him with your mouth that he is Lord. Believe in your heart that he is risen from the dead. Therefore, you shall be saved. That's a real challenge, buddy.
Well, there we go, Mr. Curious Unknown. I am a baptized Christian. Jesus Christ is Lord. That is what I believe. And that will go down like a bucket of sick with some of my subscribers and viewers. That is my personal belief, and as I said earlier, I can understand why some people would have a problem that Dazzathecameraman, the debunker, has religious beliefs. But it's personal belief, and if people want to criticize me for that, well, fair enough. That's fair enough. I can completely understand why they might want to criticize me for that. And in fact, there are some things that I struggle with in my faith. You know, I have questions that I wrestle with, as I think most Christians do, but I see a bigger picture. But anyway, I'm not here to preach what I believe, except to say that if you think that I'm not a Christian, that I don't have Christian beliefs, Mr. Curious Unknown, you are very mistaken. Let's carry on.
I'm tired of the lens flare challenge. It's getting old.
Well, Mr. Curious Unknown, if you're tired of the lens flare challenge, it's getting old. How about just stop filming lens flares? Stop telling us that there's a blue planet next to the sun or some object next to the moon. If you're going to continue with these videos, do it honestly. Do the tests that have been suggested to you. Do the finger test where you extend your finger out in front of your camera and put your finger over the sun, so that when the sun is blocked out by your finger, do we still see the blue planet next to the sun? Then put your finger over the blue planet. Are you able to block the blue planet out with your finger, or does the blue planet appear on top of your finger? Obviously, if it does, it is a lens flare or lens reflection. It's a very simple test to do. Let's carry on. We're nearly finished, by the way.
I'll be right back. I need a drink of water.
Right. So you can see why I'm using Audacity here, because we can see when he's talking and when he's not.
Pass the message along if you'd like. Tell Dazza that Mr. Curious has a challenge for him. He wants to call people out consistently and constantly. Yes, Cody, share it, bro. Go ahead, share it, man. I'm not reading all the comments. You're going to have to bear with my butt. I'm starting to get a little bit lit on fire at this point. And I believe what I say. I believe what I say. What I say, I mean. I may not know it all, or at the time it may be a lens flare, it may not be. I openly admit that in every video. And this fool wants to call me out. I even asked him, do you even listen to me speak? No answer. Didn't answer me on that. Nope, not a solid answer. Couldn't say yes or no, but he wanted me to say yes or no about coming to his live chat. Google Hangout, but he couldn't answer any of my questions. What kind of, does this guy think I'm a fool?
The problem is that it's rather difficult to answer questions when you blocked Mr. Curious Unknown. You've blocked me on your channel, so I can't reply. So how am I supposed to reply to your questions when I'm blocked? Okay, I invited you into a hangout on my channel, and that offer still stands. And I hope that once we're both called off, you'll be happy to come and join me in a hangout, and we can discuss this like gentlemen. In fact, that we can discuss this like two Christians respecting each other. But let's try and get to the truth about the lens flares, or what you believe that you're filming. And also the other things, such as, you know, when you panned around and it looked like there was a huge object in the sky, and you were going, wow, look at that. Holy crap, you said. Okay? You were looking at a cumulus cloud. It's one of those big towering clouds where the top of the cloud was sunlit by the setting sun. Yes, the sun had set below your horizon, but of course the sun is still shining on the tops of the clouds, which are thousands of feet up in the air. Why are we not seeing reports and photographs and videos from people to your west, the direction of your setting sun? Actually, sorry, the object that you were filming after the sunset was in your east because you turned around. So why aren't we seeing photos and videos from people towards your east who saw this huge object in the sky, much bigger than the size of the full moon? So that's the full recording from Mr. Curious Unknown's video. That was the best way that I could respond. I hope that he will join me in a live hangout. I will set up a live hangout for tomorrow my time. It'll be probably about 0000 hours UTC, which is about midday my time. And hopefully Mr. Curious Unknown will accept my invitation to join me for that hangout. As I said before, I will be respectful, I will be polite, and hopefully we can actually achieve something positive. Hopefully we can come to an understanding of each other. I always prefer to talk to people directly, because the problem is with text is that things get misunderstood because you've got no tone of voice. Things get misread, misunderstood. And yes, I do need to get some rest, thank you. I'm rather burnt out today. I really should have been having a nap this afternoon after the earlier hangouts, but yes, I'm a bit wound up, it's true. I thought it best to address this while it was still fresh, and hopefully Mr. Curious Unknown can watch this video, digest it, think about it, and maybe tomorrow we can do a hangout and talk like gentlemen. I would like to see that happen. So I'm looking at the comments in the chat. I'm going to wind this up very shortly, so if you've got any questions or points that you want to make, you might want to ask them now. More power to my elbow. Yep, thank you. And as I said, Mr. Curious Unknown, you know, I've got no problem with you preaching the gospel. I've got no problem with you sharing your testimony or doing Bible readings or whatever you want to do. I've got no issue with that. The problem that I have is that when you're filming the sun or the moon and you're claiming that there's an object there that is nothing more than a lens reflection or a lens flare, that is what I have a problem with. Thank you, group. Please do that. You know, this is not pleasant. I don't like attacking people from the outset. You know, I always try to be fair. Yes, there are some real battles that I get into on YouTube, such as with Scott Cohn and Steve Olson and so on. But, you know, people need to remember that even with Scott Cohn, back in October last year, after Astronomy Live, and I did a hangout video looking at Scott Cohn's video about planet Enoch, or what he claimed was planet Enoch, passing through the imagery of one of the stereo spacecraft. Scott Cohn contacted me and wanted to put forward his case, and I believe that he was sincere. And we had a long Skype conversation that evening, and we had a very good talk, and it went very well. And I said, I'm going to get you back into a hangout the next day so that you can put forward your side of the story. And he did that. He joined Astronomy Live and I for a hangout. And it all went very well. It was a great hangout. It's still up on my channel if anybody wants to watch it. Astronomy Live, Dazzathecameraman, and Scott Cohn, all in a hangout together. At the end of that hangout, Scott Cohn thanked us both for being perfect gentlemen, and he said it would be great if everybody could be, he said, grown-ass men instead of thugs. And he thanked us very much, and he said that he would like to do it again. A few hours later, he exploded on my private message thread on Facebook, accusing Astronomy Live of being a fake and claiming that he had been in contact with these two professors of astronomy from Pittsburgh University, and that they had sent him a 13-page PDF document completely debunking everything that Astronomy Live had said. Since then, Scott has admitted that he was bluffing. He has admitted that he lied. Or in his words, he said, I lied, I lied, I lied. I tried to call your bluff. Those are his words. Why should anyone take Scott Cohn seriously? But to get back to my point is that I try to be fair from the start. I try to be respectful. I try to give people a chance. But if they turn out to be liars, like Scott Cohn, if they turn out to be deceivers like Steve Olson and others, if it turns out that they're not interested in finding the truth, then sure, I'm going to give them a hard time. I'm going to debunk them. I'm going to call them out for what they are, liars and hoaxers and fearmongers. Now, there are some people who follow my videos who used to be Nibiru believers, and some of them even used to upload Nibiru videos. And there's one person who comes to mind in particular, Chihuahua, you know who you are, who used to upload these videos filming Venus, and he believed it was Nibiru Planet X. And I managed to get through to him. It took a little while, just like with Logan Runnin, but Chihuahua realized that Dazzathecameraman was telling him the truth, because he was able to test things for himself. And now he's very supportive. A rogue Chihuahua, sorry, Chihuahua, I was trying to think of your full YouTube name. It's a rogue Chihuahua. So check out a rogue Chihuahua. He used to have a lot of these videos where he believed that he was filming Nibiru, and now he's very supportive of my work. You know, at first he thought that I was maybe a shill or whatever. Logan Runnin, filming Venus, going back maybe 4 years ago. He thought that Dazzathecameraman was a paid shill, all the rest of it, you know, and then he realized, he had a moment of clarity where he realized that he was actually filming Venus. And of course he went on to debunk Nibiru Planet X videos nonsense himself. So, you know, as I say, I do try to be respectful from the start whenever I can. There are some people out there, of course, that obviously are being deceitful from the start and don't deserve to be treated with respect. But, you know, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt to start with and try and be diplomatic and respectful from the start. And I tried that with Mr. Curious Unknown. I tried to reach out to him. I was diplomatic in my comments. I wasn't calling him names. I was making suggestions to him of things that he could try. And in the end, I got blocked. I got blocked on his channel so that I could no longer comment or participate in his chat. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to wind this up, folks. Thank you for joining me once again. It's been quite a day. I don't normally do, 4 Hangouts in one day. There was another one that I did on Tiffany, Queen of Hooks channel as well. If you haven't seen that one, go over to Queen of Hooks. We did a Hangout this morning, and check that one out as well. So I will set up a scheduled Hangout for about 0000 hours UTC. Please accept my invite to join me for a respectful Hangout. You'll need to email me so that I can send you the link to the Hangout. You can email me at Dazzathecameraman@outlook.com. So I'll sign off now, and thank you to everyone in the chat and to everybody watching. Good night.